everyone, welcome to IGN Anime Club episode 18!
Yay!
Yay!
Forgot.
It's fine.
It's okay. First
now
time.
we have to start over.
Darn interns. No, we don't have to start. It's all good.
I was kidding.
It's charming. It's charming.
I was kidding, Miranda. It's okay. Now we really have to start over.
We can't. Nope, we can't. It was fine.
I am kidding. I am really good at this
I'm very
facetious and
serious.
sarcasm
I keep
thing.
messing things up. Like last week, and it stayed in. It was really bad. I was like cursing a bunch. Yeah, it was really funny though. I hope you guys didn't catch that. So, intern, introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I am an intern, as she said like 4 times already, and countless other times before. But yeah, my name is Kumaron. I'm an intern here. Not doing like content stuff, but I'm doing like nerdy programming stuff.
Yay.
So yeah,
The cool stuff that makes everything work.
the cool stuff that makes everything. I like that better.
Yeah.
So
I got
yeah,
you.
that's
It's fine.
me.
Don't discount yourself.
Yeah,
Your
so
work.
that's as mean as I get to interns. But yeah, so we have at IGN a code fu intern, so it is a coding intern. We don't have an editorial internship, so don't ask.
Yeah, no, we do
But,
not.
Yeah, so great to have you on. You are our guest this week.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I was like stalking, like waiting by the coffee machine, and then I saw Miranda. I'm like, oh, Miranda, hi. And then I saw Elena like getting on the elevator. I'm like, oh, Elena, hi. And then, and then eventually it led up to me asking if I can be on Anime Club because I like anime. Yeah, so that's pretty awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wasn't stalking, by the way.
Anime is how we make friends.
Yeah.
I'm excited to have you.
Yeah, so
I'm excited to be here.
back to introductions. As always, I have Elena Yee,
Hey, everybody.
Megan Sullivan,
Hey guys.
Callie Plaguey,
Hi.
and I think I introduced myself already, so I don't remember.
Miranda.
I'm Miranda.
You're Miranda.
By the way. Yeah, it's a good day.
This is an awesome start. I love this.
It's conversational.
We're
That's
having-
what we are.
Yeah, so this is a conversational anime podcast. Surprise.
We're having a freaking Tuesday, aren't we? It is. It's quite the
It's a
Tuesday.
good week.
Tuesday.
A lot of good anime happened this week.
Oh my god, so good. Some of the shows.
We're
getting to that midpoint.
Yeah, episode
Yeah.
7, 8. So you're getting just past the midpoint. You're getting to like all the intense drama, or you're just starting to pick up new 2-minute shows like me. So you know.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So what have you guys been watching this week? What's up?
Well, I've been keeping up with Town Dandelion, which I super love, which I know everyone who watches this regularly will find really weird, right? But it's like one of those shows that I haven't heard. I know, right? But it's one of those shows that I don't feel personally that has gotten a lot of buzz, at least among the Anime Club members and just you know who I follow on Twitter and Facebook and stuff. But it's not at all what I expected. It's totally comedy. It's kind of dirty, but in this hilarious way.
Theme of the season.
Where the show for the most part stays on topic, which is that you have this royal family, 9 kids. Also, props to that mom. Can't imagine having that many kids.
Nope.
Yikes.
And still looking that good. But 9 kids. The whole family has special powers, and the premise is that they're all vying with each other in a good kind of good-natured kind of way for the throne, like who's going to be the next king. And so for the most part, it's this really warm, cute look at like family and the different personalities of the kids. But that's what makes it so awesome, where you're in the middle of the scene and they're just talking about like the school day or whatever, or it's like a comic gag or comedic gag, and like there's like a random just like lingering shot of someone's butt, and then it just keeps going. Or you'll hear someone in the background saying something about like a commentary on their preferences when it comes to breasts. Like it's just kind of like out of the blue, which I love that kind of random spontaneity.
It's just sort of sprinkled in.
Yeah, it's just super random.
It's just a little fan service, but
just a little bit, yeah.
Just the butts.
Just
The butts.
just
Tina Belcher.
Well, that's what I think,
I
though.
love Tina. Tina's my spirit animal. No, I watched the first episode of Castletown, and I did not expect it to go in that direction. 'Cause I was
Right?
like, oh, this is cute, and I totally I want to keep watching it. I was just catching up on a lot of shows this week, but I did not know it would get on the butt train. I did not realize.
Just a little bit, and it's typically Akane, which is who's the main character of the show.
The really shy one?
The shy one. And it's like a running gag, right? Where it's just, and what I love about it, it plays with that line between like kind of exploiting it and like being like super heavy-handed and just almost like flirting with it, right? Where, like I said, like you'll have the camera kind of just kind of linger for like a half second and then it just like keeps going. It's like, I just wanted you to notice this. Just kidding.
So, just the only other thing that would make this perfect, like, if Tina were directing this anime, would be zombies. But you know, I mean,
yeah. See, that's why I love her so
Unicorn
much.
zombies.
Is zombies make everything tie it together perfectly.
Yeah.
But I like.
Yeah.
But see what I
But
did there?
oh.
God, punch me in the face.
Please just
No.
leave.
HR would talk to me severely.
Yeah, don't actually punch me in the face. But I like where like the fan service shot is like so subtle where you're almost like, did I imagine the butt? Is it me? Like maybe I'm the pervert, right? I am just looking at butts.
Right?
I like that.
Where you have a scene, right? So, like, maybe it's a scene, like, where the camera angle's, like, down low because you're looking at a group of people. But, like, right off in the corner, like, you see someone with a skirt and you're like, wait, am I the problem or is the camera angle the problem?
Hey.
I'm not sure anymore.
That's
now you're just looking out for it, right? It's like, where is it? It's got to be this episode.
anime existential crisis.
And so, for that reason, it doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
Like, I will say, I was also watching School Live this week, and sometimes there are, like, fan service moments in there that I actually am not, I'm like, why is this here?
Oh, like,
why am I suddenly kind of like, why are we looking at her butt? Why is she in, like stockings and a garter?
Why is she
Just,
still
like,
wearing those?
Yeah.
Miku
touch those,
who
girl.
wears those in this day and age?
She's cold.
It's like no, she was not wearing a whole lot else. So
I know.
like
it's
it's
just
it's
weird.
it's the freaking apocalypse. Like you don't have to wear your garters anymore. Just put on something comfortable like cargo pants.
Sweats. I mean, come on, you're in a mall.
sweatpants.
Yeah, you're in a mall. Let's
Honey,
go.
Get some yoga pants.
Honey, like go shopping. Just be careful about it. So
Really careful about it.
yeah. There's I like it when because with that example of fan service, it was very much like, oh, come on. Like, there's no reason for this. But it sounds like with Castletown, it's more like a little up nod. Like, there's the butt, and then you just keep going.
I like it, right? Where it's just like, hey, like and it almost feels like it's done tongue in cheek almost, right? Like, that's what I love about this whole show. So I think there's just a lot of things that, like last week we did a lot of complaining about tropes, right? Yeah. Specifically to the shoujo demographic kind of stuff. But I think in general, and I think you would all agree with me, is that I'm not personally against anything except maybe the horror genre because I'm just a big fat wimp. And that has nothing to do with that genre. It's not its fault. It's all me. Totally me. But most things are okay if they're done well, right? Yeah. It's when they're done blatantly or just kind of in a way that doesn't fit. So like for School Live, like it's done like very like moe style. So the fan service doesn't quite jive for me because of that too, where it's like, okay, that's kind of awkward for me personally.
Yeah.
And I'm not judging anybody else, but just for me, it's like, that's weird. It's kind of random. I'm not sure why they're putting it in there. But Castletown is such a tongue-in-cheek sort of show to begin with that when they do, it's kind of like, oh, I get the joke. Yeah, I'm totally on board. Cool.
Yes.
Keep it up. Don't do too much, though, because then I'll hate it. But every now and then, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm paying attention.
Yeah, so absolutely, if you haven't checked it out, let us know.
Yeah, let me
you
know
think.
if anybody
watch
else
it.
likes it, or I'm just like completely that person that goes opposite to the way the group's going.
I'm so happy you found an anime this season that you're totally on board with, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, I like Gangsta too, guys.
That's true.
And if we ever get a chance to talk about it, I actually am liking School Live now.
Yes.
However, that's only because Yuki's not in it as much right now. I may change this opinion if she comes back full bore.
Yeah, see, I tweeted this at you, I think, actually, was that she's super annoying, but she's also very necessary for the show to work the way it does, what we like about the show, how it explores, like, her mental state and stuff. She's so annoying. I'm like, please stop talking. Like, and then she does something really sweet, like something that makes them happy, like, you know.
Or something that's for the benefit of others, and she sees that how she can help with her, happiness. And
and then I hate
out
her
to
less. I'm like, wow, you do have a purpose in this group. You're not just dead weight to them. That's what we saw in the most recent episode. I believe the most recent episode.
The most recent episode did a really good job of explaining why
they don't punch her in the face.
Yeah. That's actually a really good way of putting it.
Yeah, why they play along, and it kind of also reveals a lot of big, I don't know if we're not really getting into spoilers.
Yeah, let's not spoil it, because it's actually a pretty
reveals
big deal.
A lot of things that have been very heavily hinted at, and if you didn't pick on it before, which some people didn't, I mean, that's totally fine. Yeah, that it's like, hey, this is a thing. I mean, we're confirming it now, for sure. You know?
So what is so annoying about her anyway? I mean, like, I'm not familiar with the character.
She said she's the Genki girl trope, where she's always happy and she's really ditzy, and she's blocking out a lot of trauma, but her friends are kind of enabling it. They mean the best for her, but at the same time, because Yuki's just not quite all in there, she's constantly endangering her friends. And so it's between that and the fact that she's just...
Yeah. So, like we said in the most recent episode, you kind of get more background into why they let that happen, because her positivity helps them, like, saves them from being terribly
it's not
depressed.
Just for her mental stability, it's also for their mental stability, which I like.
I loved that in the most recent episode because that's super real. Like,
it made it make much more sense.
Like, especially for their situation. Like, you just analyze what's going on, how hard that is, and you need something positive. You need something fun.
Yeah.
And she's that. So
she's that person for them. So yeah. So I never hated her, but I'm much more tolerant.
That's more than me, because I hated her. I'll admit it.
I hated her until the end of the first episode, and then I could see that it's a lot about her inability to deal with things.
Yeah, she made a lot more sense after that for me, and I was like, all right.
I do wonder, though, with her personality, is it that she can't cope with the trauma, or is she just kind of oblivious to begin with? Like, I wonder if it's like a chicken egg scenario.
So I have a theory without spoiling it, but I feel like there's even more of a reason why she can't deal. I talked to Callie about it, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone who's still catching up, but I have a theory about it.
We'll talk later.
We'll talk later. Yes, but if you have not watched School Live, people at home, I'm pointing at the camera, or those listening, please go watch it.
And you.
Yes, we've gotten more people infected
everywhere
with watching the show.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what we've been calling
it.
I infected my roommate last night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Once you watch the first episode, and the first episode is the hardest episode to get through because it's so gushy and smushy, and you're just like, oh, this makes my teeth
are rotting.
Yeah, my teeth are rotting. It's so sweet. And then the last 2 minutes, boom, right in the gut. So good.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Pow, right in the kisser. Right in the feels.
Yeah. Anyway, so this week on Makura no Danshi. It's time for your Makura no Danshi.
I like how Miranda looked directly at me. I guess
we talked about this morning too.
It's all your fault. Sorry.
It's
me.
All I'm the Makura no representative and the Makura no ambassador.
Even though we all watch it at my desk because I instigated it.
Yeah. So if you're not up to date on what we talk about right now, is we get together at Megan's desk and watch Makura no Danshi, which is Pillow Boys.
Pillow Boys.
A bunch of boys sweet talking you in a first person kind of
sweet talking bunny ears.
They're supposed to, but
they say rude things. Like I'm gonna make you squeal like my violin. And I was like, excuse me.
Or potentially like date rapey things.
Yeah, like the guy in the car. So so we talked about this, Elena, a little bit this morning. But this most recent episode that we watched yesterday on Makura no Monday, that was a kid that I've met before in my life.
Yes.
Like, not literally him, but
yes.
He was like this emo kid that was like, I don't belong anywhere. And then, just like that. That's how he sounded.
Yeah.
That's
kind
how he
of,
sounded in
actually.
Japanese.
He was like the most extreme version of it, too. Like,
he had an eye patch, I think.
Yeah, and he's like talking about...
He had an eye infection or something.
He was really sexy. He was like, I have a sty, don't touch my eye. And I was like, I'm not gonna touch your eye.
I also did not like our character in this episode,
character was
like who you
awful.
were. It's like she's trying to touch his eyes. Like, he just said it's infected. Don't touch that. Okay.
Well, first of all, like,
I don't know if she was actually doing that. Like, I felt like maybe she was just like reaching for him to like comfort him, and then he like flipped out.
I mean,
it's possible.
Don't touch other people.
Yeah, no, he's like
Personal space.
like don't touch other people without their consent, yo. Like, I don't know why I added yo at the end of that.
But still, like, I mean, that kid was awkward.
Oh gosh.
I feel like
awkward.
It is. But the funny part was I was watching it, and the whole 4 minutes I kept thinking, this is the most real this show has gotten.
Yeah.
Like, I totally knew this person in college my first year.
Yeah. No, it reminded me of like well, I was also in this group of people in middle school, but like the MCR kids that were just like life, and then you got to high school and you were,
that was me.
yeah, and then you go to high school and you're like, wow, oh no,
I was dumb.
oh god, why this?
And then you still love My Chemical Romance, but then you grow out of the moody phase.
You grow out of the like, everyone scares me, and the Hot Topic T-shirts. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I feel like this kid in this pillow boy. Yeah, my best friend's invisible or something. I feel like this kid should have been wearing a Hot Topic T-shirt. The ones where it's like,
I mean, he could have gotten his jacket there or something.
It looked Hot Topic.
Yeah,
not to diss Hot Topic, but the ones that are like, I can only please one person a day. Today is not your day. Tomorrow's not your day
Super
either.
passive aggressive. Woe is me.
So those they're real. They're shirts that exist. That's the kind of kid he was. And but to illustrate how I feel about the show, this was probably the least awful episode.
It was the least creepy.
It felt the most real.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I thought it was. Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but except your character again was just really awkward about everything.
I like that he did have friends. Like,
he's like,
he almost dropped his character for a second, where he's like, oh no, I have friends. Like they're really cool. And then he's like, oh no, wait, I have to go back to emo now.
Yeah,
it was actually kind of cute. Where
it
he's
was
like,
sweet.
Yeah, he really has friends.
It was sweet for like a split second, and then we were all like, ugh.
And then he fell on the ground and fell asleep, and that was the end.
Yeah.
He's on something. I don't know. So that's the Makura update.
Yeah.
Yes. God.
All right. On a completely different topic, I've been watching Shimoneta.
Oh,
Shimoneta. A boring world in which the concept of dirty jokes does not exist. The full title. Miranda, you brought this up a couple weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, so I watched the first episode and I wasn't really feeling it. It was kind of immature sexual humor. Of course, like dirty jokes is the big thing.
Yeah.
And there's one character specifically who's very forward about it. She's like the
Blue Snow.
The patriot of dirty jokes, and she's trying to like spread it everywhere. And because in this show, this is Japan, and they're trying to make it the most moral country, and so they've eliminated anything that's lewd, and you can't curse, you can't make lewd actions. It comes to the point where it's ridiculous, like that people don't know how to get like what sex is.
They don't know anything about biology,
or
they don't know the proper terminology for like their bodies.
Yeah, it's like reproduction is just a thing they do not understand.
How do they actually not die off as a population?
Right. So it's just kind of like it's kind of a weird thing, and it's like a good point that they're trying to make. Is like whenever you sterilize things so much, people become ignorant about themselves and about bodies and about like biology and science, like important things that we need to know. It's like sex is not a bad thing; it's a natural thing, but they're just going overboard, and I appreciated what they were trying to do, but the jokes just came off like too much. I was just like, all right, you can yell profanities and lewd things all you want, but there comes a point when it stops being super funny.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, I mean, I get it.
I am actually really enjoying this show.
So,
how many episodes in are you? How many episodes in are you?
5. I just watched the 5th episode last night.
There's 7?
There's 7 currently.
Okay.
I wanted to catch up and then I fell asleep. Unrelated to the show. The show didn't bore me or anything. I think as far as like the actual dirty jokes go, that's the part I find least amusing because I'm kind of like I've gotten to the point in my life where I don't laugh at the number 69 anymore. Like I'm like over it. I'm over it.
Yeah, it's like okay.
I'm like
get it.
I'm like
whatever.
I'm like it's funny. So that part I'm like whatever about. But I just find it really entertaining. I really like it, actually.
But what we were just saying was the biggest problem with the earlier episodes is that they rely so heavily on the childish, immature sexual jokes that it weighs down the shows. Like, I'm on, like, halfway through episode 3. Like, I was taking the 3-episode run test. I was like, okay, well, a lot of people seem to like it. There's a good reason for that. I mean, this kind of happened with me with Food Wars. Is like, I was a little turned off by the first episode.
Same.
Like, tentacle stuff, like, way too much. I was like, all right.
Oh, yeah, the first episode came like roaring out of the gate, like too hard.
I was like, whoa, hey, wait a second, and then you kept watching, and now it's like one of my favorite shows.
Same.
But Shimoneta hasn't let up yet, and I'm like, there's things that I find interesting, but I don't know if I want to tolerate the other half of the show that I don't enjoy.
Yeah, so I'm on the 5th episode now. I don't. From what you just said, I don't know if you're going to continue to like or tolerate it because people have been posting pictures and memes about this in the Facebook group. Hi, Facebook group. We love you.
Facebook.com/groups/IGN Anime Club.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
We love you guys. So from episode 5, there is a scene that I won't go into too much detail about, but it's the cookie scene. And if you know what I'm talking about, you will be like, yes, the cookies scene.
Yeah, I feel like I need to watch this now.
Yeah, the cookies.
Maybe just the clip. Maybe not. I don't know.
So
I kind of already know what it is without knowing.
I told you about it a little bit. So
yeah, it told me just enough, and I was like, oh my. Okay.
If you you know, on your own time, not at work, you can look it up if you want.
Yeah, I was watching
hint.
the most recent episodes like at work, like minimizing
Oh,
the
yes,
screen. I was like,
as
don't nobody look.
Yeah, would not
Nobody
recommend.
walk by my desk.
Would not recommend
Not
that.
safe for work.
Yeah, so this episode 5 kind of starts with this scene, and the episode actually begins with like, the following events are shocking and are not good for people with heart conditions. Like, that is like the disclaimer at the beginning of this episode. And it's really gross. And I originally saw this clip before I started the show, and I was curious, and that's why I started the show.
Callie.
So it worked.
It's making me want to watch, so
no, I mean,
it's valid.
I don't know if you like it, Elena.
I really don't
I
think you'll
don't
like
think
it.
you will.
I don't know.
might
We'll
as well
see.
try it.
Now I'm going to try it.
Might as well try it.
Because I seem to run counter to everything else, so.
Don't see. I'm afraid people are going to judge me for liking this show so much.
No, I mean, there's a reason to like it. I mean, there
Yeah.
are funny things. It's just, it's not my type of humor.
Yeah,
Like, that
and-
just, we have tastes, and that's fine.
Yeah, and
Like-
I'd say I find it, like, I know a lot of people find it like really funny, like laugh out loud funny. That's not kind of how I appreciate the show. I find it like entertaining. Like, I really like the commentary on kind of like abstinence education and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's pretty real to me because I knew people in high school who like didn't know what their bodies did. Like, I knew a girl who did not know what a uterus was or what it did.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God, are you okay? Like,
Part of you should know what.
I was like,
I mean, it's silly.
Did you not go to 7th grade biology
yeah, I was like,
class?
do you need help? Like, are you okay? So, like, I knew people like that. So watching the show and seeing people that have no idea about anything, and like, I feel like that would actually happen if people were kind of cut off from accessing certain information. So I like that part of the show. I find the characters entertaining. The student council president, Anna, she's the one who in the cookie episode, and like that's where they take it too far, is with her character, because her whole thing is like she's super pure and healthy, and she's like the model pureness person. Her mom's like in charge of the laws
and like
about pureness.
she's student council president
Purity.
of the school. It's like the most pure school as well. It's like the elite school.
It's the elite purity school, and pureness is not the noun for that. The noun is purity. My bad.
pureness.
I like how you were a grammar Nazi on yourself. You're like, wait a second.
I typoed out loud. Yeah, so they take it really far with Anna, because I think it's episode 2, so or I don't know if you've seen it yet, but she kind of gets this awakening happening, but like, girl, like, rein it in, like, get it together.
It might be episode 3 or the end half. I haven't seen it
Okay.
all the way through yet.
Yeah,
but
she
it's not yet.
becomes a little more privy to, what it feels like when you are attracted to someone, and she goes way too far. And there's actually a scene later. Obviously, if you haven't caught up, like, this is a minor spoiler, it's not a huge deal, but it's kind of a non-consensual kind of thing, and I really, really don't like that. And so that bothered me a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm going to continue with the show because, like, later on, they kind of they address it a little bit. But I'm really, like, non-con is not okay with me at all. So I don't know. I have really mixed feelings about this show because I was very entertained, and then that happened, and then there's the dirty jokes where I'm like, ha ha ha, like, you said chimpo, ha ha ha, like, you know.
Yeah, you can only say "opai" so many times before you get annoyed. It's like,
Yeah.
we get it, Blue Snow. Calm. Like, I don't remember her name, but I know she's Blue Snow.
Kajo senpai, yeah.
Yeah, so when she's not in her Blue Snow form, like, that makes sense when she's all crazy lewd when she's Blue Snow, but when she's just herself, it's
she's also really forward about it. She, like, thrusts into things, and I'm like,
all
okay.
the time.
I'm like,
all the time.
I'm like,
It's
please.
calm yourself. You can do it. You know, it's like,
I believe in you. I believe that we all can show some restraint.
Yeah.
And you can too, Blue Snow. So yeah.
So, but yeah, so let us know what you guys think about it. I mean, we're curious. Obviously, we have our issues with it, but we also appreciate certain things about it. Like, I respect what
keep
it's trying to
watching.
do. But yeah, so I'm gonna probably finish episode 3 and see what goes from there.
And I really want to see this cookie scene now.
Anyway,
I mean, maybe.
Anyway.
All right. Good luck transitioning to the next anime. How do you go from cookies to...
oh, well, there's a new show about food. There we go.
Cookies.
So Crunchyroll picked up a short that I guess some of my friends have been watching but didn't tell me. Nick Hahnemann. Yeah, it's
Whoa. Put him on blast.
Listen, trash.
It failed me. Anyway, so it's called the Wakako-zake.
Yeah.
And it is super cute, and I watched all 7 episodes. Well, I ate my dinner, because it's 2 minutes long. Yeah, so even on the shorter end of shorts, like some shorts are like 4 or 5 minutes, it's 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And so what it does is this woman, she goes home after work, or she's on her way home, and she's like, I'm gonna go get dinner by myself, and I'm gonna drink, and I'm gonna enjoy it. And that's the entire show.
It's this little slice of life kind of thing.
Yeah, so she just goes into different restaurants each episode, and she tries a different food. She pairs it with a perfect alcohol, and she goes, pshoo, when she's like happy.
It's really cute, and it is inspiring, because now I want to go drink and
I just want to go by myself and eat. It's like, bye,
you guys don't do that? It's the best. You get seated faster. You get served faster.
Elena, you know what's up.
Like the food comes quick, and like you're out the door like within 15 to 20 minutes in some restaurants. It's the best.
Yeah. You should watch this show and let us know what you think.
Yeah.
I found out that I just love watching happy people eat their food.
Yeah, like food wars, or watching like Takeo in My Love Story, like eat baked goods. It's just so nice.
Except there is one show, I forget what it's called, but there's pretty much the same thing as like these girls cooking food for each other, and they're just happy eating. That's like Family Unit, but I didn't like it. It was boring. I forget what it's called. No, I don't remember what it's called. But yeah, so I mean, it's just a really cute short. It's 2 minutes long. You can finish all 7 episodes in 24. It's like
it takes no time. I watched them
minutes,
while I was waiting for the recording of this podcast to start. Like I just watched them really fast.
7 episodes.
Lunchtime.
7 episodes, 14 minutes, and then they're releasing more.
It's adorable.
Yeah, it's just like a pleasant show, and she like kind of talks about the food she's eating, and then she kind of looks at the people around her and kind of gets disgusted by them sometimes. It's really good.
Yeah, like the
first episode.
Yeah.
This guy was kind of flirting a little bit with her.
Yeah, because she was eating salmon and like really appreciating it, and he was kind of like, hey, salmon.
So salmon's good. Yeah, and she's like drinking like good.
Like I think sake, and it's funny because salmon is also sake. Interlingual puns. But he ordered rice with it and like offended her.
But she was so disgusted. She just
walked
left.
away.
And he's like, wait, what?
I was like, that's how you react to a guy hitting on you in a bar. Just walk away. Just leave. Bye.
I have a question though with these shows where food comes up, because I had this problem with Himoto Umaru-chan this week, where I always see her eating potato chips and drinking cola. And so while I was catching up on episodes, I started having a craving for potato chips. So at 10:30 at night on a Saturday, I sat in front of my computer eating an entire bag of potato chips. I didn't drink soda because there wasn't any in the house, but I had beer instead, which is worse.
It's perfect replacement.
It's still
a grown-up replacement.
It's a grown-up replacement because, of course, Umaru-chan can't drink alcohol.
Oh, so Umaru-chan would totally have a beer if she was like of age.
She was. And so every time I watch anime with food, I don't know if you guys at home do it or what, but I always end up getting super hungry and binge eating.
That's
because
I
am just like, oh my god, those chips look amazing. And like Umaru has this whole system of like salty potato chips and these chocolate bamboo shoots and gallons and gallons and gallons of cola. Before I found out what cola is made out of, I used to drink cola all the time. Now I won't touch it with a 10-foot pole because it literally gets rid of people's rust in their bites. So enjoy that. Anyway, fun fact about colas.
That's why you only
I was just like
have it every now and then.
It's so funny because with Umaru-chan, I've come full circle with that show where I hate that character when she's like little cheapy Umaru-chan. Like she's such hot garbage. Like she's terrorizing her brother.
She's the trash monster inside of us all.
She really is. Maybe that's why I didn't like her.
We need a T-shirt with that.
The trash monster inside of us all.
Yeah, little chibi Umaru-chan just dancing with soda.
Oh my gosh! But now I love her because she is
good.
Kind of it's so good.
Yeah.
Somebody make that. Also, thank you to whoever on our Facebook page sent a link for the Umaru-chan costume, the hamster costume.
Yeah,
you can
hoodie
be, what,
thing,
yeah, the
a
little hoodie
little
thing.
blanket.
I am totally dressing up as, I'm just going to get like a blonde wig and that and go around with cola and potato chips and just whine at people all day.
Wear it to work. I'm wearing my
No.
Sailor Mars dress. today.
Yes. So Miranda's wearing, and by the way, a little bit of self-promotion. If you want to support Anime Club, we have t-shirts.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
And I am the keeper of the keys on that one. It is go.ign.com/store.
Yes.
You can find
by the
our
way,
t-shirts there.
if you want to support us, make sure to like us on Facebook, join our Facebook group, and make sure to retweet and favorite IGN whenever we have our link to the show, because that lets the higher ups know that we are popular and loved, and we appreciate your support.
Also, thank you guys for who have already bought and purchased. I've said bought in so many times.
do that too. We're all typoing today,
Yeah,
aren't
my
we?
boyfriend
Sounds
is
like a
just like,
food button.
Miranda, stop. I'm like, just leave me alone. Anyway, be
know what
purchased.
you mean.
Thank you for purchasing our shirt. We are currently the third best-selling T-shirt.
Yeah.
On our store. So get out of here, unlocked. No, but
Ooh, I have
guys?
a challenge. I have something that I want our listeners and viewers to help us with. I would love, even if it's just for a week, but hopefully forever, I would love for us to be the #1 IGN podcast.
Oh,
Ooh.
Can we take
That's-
on Beyond and
That's,
Unlock?
that's
Can we do it?
coming from the outside in
But that is,
yes, go ahead.
that is my challenge.
Anime Club versus Beyond.
Anime Club
Yeah, it's like,
versus Beyond.
we've got a while. They're like hundreds of episodes in. Like
I'm not saying tomorrow. I am saying this could be our long-term goal.
Yeah.
Because they're all boy, most of the podcasts except for Tech Fetish, but it always feels like it's very male-dominated, and I'm like, we are trying to have a balance of male and female, but
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of us point out, like, well, nobody complains when there's all women. It's like, well, the thing is, we really try not for it to be all women.
Yeah,
I mean,
we do.
sometimes it happens that way.
so this
You know?
isn't, I want to make it clear, this isn't a boy versus girl thing,
Yeah.
but I think that anime needs even more love on IGN, and I think that should be our goal.
Anime just needs more love in general.
It does.
Yeah, everybody love anime. I mean,
Yes,
speaking of
loving
probably
anime.
do.
We
Or
haven't
hate it, you
asked
know?
our guest what anime
Yeah, what do you
he is
watch?
enjoying.
Or what are you watching? What's,
Alright,
what's
well,
up with you?
So I mean, I've been following the watch party. So
Yay!
Steins Gate.
Yay!
But then I saw Steins Gate a while back, and I feel like that's the thing that I do. I usually just go back to animes that I've seen like when I was in like middle school. So I'm not really following up with stuff that's coming out now. So all the stuff that you're watching, I'm just like, oh, that's interesting. I feel like I
You
should
gotta
get
know
back
about
into it.
cookies, man. What's up with the tossing them cookies?
What is that?
Tossing some cookies. What?
That's a reference to puking, in case you don't know. I'll just explain that for everybody.
I didn't know that.
You're welcome. See, you learn something new every episode of
Wasn't
Anime.
Okay, I'm
That's our
glad
joke.
we're on separate sides of
That's
the table here.
Sir, no, we love
not-
each other. It's fine.
Not-
Continue.
no brawls in front of the intern.
This is what you guys really like.
Yeah.
Not the same. So yeah, I mean, right now I'm rewatching Honey and Clover. I know you guys haven't really watched that.
I mean, like, I've heard of it plenty of times. It's one
yeah.
of those things I'm like, oh, I should probably
Yeah,
get into
explain
that
what that
sometime.
is, because I don't know.
So basically, it's this anime focusing around an art school and the students in it, and also the professors and kind of people who graduated. And I think it just goes through the stories of each character and kind of like what happens with them and their like progression through college, which is really cool because there's no one main character. It's just like maybe like 7 or 8 different characters, and it switches between like sets of characters from time to time. And you like, so even though there's like one character that's like starts out as the main character, you can go like 5 episodes without seeing him, right? And that's like really cool about it. And I guess it depicts college life well, but then again, I've never been in college yet, so I'm young.
Wait a second.
Hold up.
I mean,
hold up.
We
The big
joked
reveal.
about interns, but like, it's pretty young.
He's about to go to college.
Yeah, I just
Where?
Congratulations. Where?
The University of Illinois.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I love Illinois.
Why did you decide to go there? Just is there a program that you specifically
yeah,
wanted to
yeah,
get
they
into?
have a good computer science program.
Nice.
Which is like what I'm doing.
Awesome.
Which is a very good field to be in,
Yeah.
especially these days.
These days, yeah.
And the weather in the winter means that you'll have plenty of time to sit at home and watch anime.
Yes. That's the main reason why.
Good man.
Good answer.
Very good answer.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
It's good to rewatch shows.
How long is Honey and Clover?
So there are 2 seasons. The first season is around 20-ish episodes, and the second is about 12, which is like pretty standard, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
What was the show that got you into anime?
The show that got me into anime, that was like a long time ago. Like, Rurouni Kenshin back in the old days.
Kenshin,
Yeah, like that was when I was like a kid and didn't even understand what was going on. But I saw like the red hair and the sword, and I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then Dragon Ball Z, of course. Yeah, Dragon Ball Z was like one of my first. And I was super excited that they came out with a new season last month and like new movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen the new movie yet?
I have. Yeah.
Oh, you have. What did you think of it?
I thought it was really good because like my inner child just like came out and I was like, yes, there's another movie.
Yeah. I was trying to find it in San Francisco, and it's all like around San Francisco, but there's nothing at. I was so sure the Kabuki in San Francisco was going to have it.
There was one at the Century Theater, which is like
over
a
at,
few blocks away from here. And I went like with another one of the interns like right after work at IGN.
Really? Because when I looked it up online like a week and a half ago, there was nothing.
That's weird. Maybe because I saw it when I looked it up too, so I'm not too sure.
I don't know.
It might have been a limited
packed.
engagement.
Yeah,
That
it's
might be
limited.
it.
Like it was only up for 2 weeks, and it hit like records, which is
Yeah.
awesome because we want to see these movies perform well. Like even if you don't care about Dragon Ball, like seeing this like so
Like
much
a
interest
classic,
in them.
If you
being
want more
successful.
anime movies to come over, you have to support them.
I think it made it to the top 10
Yeah, top 10. Yeah.
grossing list
It did
of anime
super
films
well,
in the
yeah.
US.
Yeah, which is why we haven't reviewed the latest Dragon Ball because it's not legally out yet. We want to support whoever gets the rights to the latest Dragon Ball so that we can
Also, we don't
review it
like-
properly.
Yeah, you gotta support the industry.
Yes,
Yes.
you do.
So it can stay around.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want it to go away.
Yeah. So awesome. What did you think of the film?
I thought it was awesome. Yeah. I mean, so it's kind of weird because the new season that came out is basically it starts out as a collection of the 2 movies. So the one that came out like a while back was like
Gods or whatever.
Battle of the Gods.
Yeah.
And then the new one, Resurrection F. And so the new season, Dragon Ball Super, is just like it starts out as just like replaying the movie with very few differences. Like it's like a mirror reflection, like in one scene. So it's kind of weird, but I mean, I enjoyed both movies.
Yeah, because I know they talked about tying both of those in. So I guess it is kind of necessary to.
Yeah, they want to
bring
put it in
those
like the
movies back in.
time period of like where it happens because like apparently Dragon Ball GT never happened. It's not part of the actual.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's not canon.
Retconned.
So yeah.
All right,
Is the new season something that people not familiar with Dragon Ball can jump into, or is this really like you really kind of got to know your Dragon Ball to follow it?
I think if you go into it without really having been exposed to Dragon Ball, I think you'd still enjoy it. I mean, you'd enjoy it more if you like knew the story at least.
Sure.
But yeah, like Dragon Ball is just awesome in general. So
Cool.
Very cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, do we want to mention any last shows before we jump into our topic?
I
of
do
the
want to
week?
see that. I want to see. Yeah. Woo! English.
We're bad at English.
So
today.
English is
So
really
3 out of 5 so far.
So many out loud typos, you guys.
I know.
Sorry.
And I also just called
That's
it
why I'm a
English.
writer. No, that's why I'm a writer.
Yeah, that's why I write words on paper.
Yeah.
And even then, what would I do without spell check?
Yeah.
But I did want to mention that Ushio and Tora took an interesting turn this week because it is no longer the Monster of the Week format, which I really like. Now it's getting into the nitty-gritty of why Ushio doesn't have a mother, where his dad keeps going all the time, and I love how Tora and Ushio's relationship is getting closer. So it was really cute how Tora keeps sitting on Ushio's shoulders, and he has his paw sometimes on his head, and it's very protective. You know, when cats and dogs sort of do that thing where they put their paw on you in this really cute manner?
My cat always puts her paw on my hand whenever I have my hands on the keyboard when I'm playing Dota.
Yeah.
Like she'll sit in front of me and she'll just be like, "Hey."
Yeah, it's just it was this cute thing. Like even though they're still arguing, you still see this like Ushio gets very protective of Tora when Tora and Ushio's dad start fighting each other because Ushio's dad wants to make sure that Ushio is worthy of the Beast Spear. So his dad has always pretended to like not know anything, and he keeps disappearing. And it turns out spoilers. I don't know if anyone wants it spoiled or not. No, I don't know. I'll just say that now you find out more. No, that's why I asked. Because you don't ask, and then you're that person who gives away the ending to Sixth Sense, like I did in college, and everyone hated me for like a year.
You did that to people?
First of all, I'm getting on defensive. No, it's like, listen, trash. Listen, trash.
Whoa.
No, but it was like 2 months after the movie came out, and I just assumed because everyone was raving about it, everyone saw it. That's your lesson. Never assume. It just makes a bad word out of you and me.
Yeah.
So basically, but I loved that Ushio and Tora's relationship is going places. Now all the threads are being tied together. Total random thought. I think that Nikali from Street Fighter V looks like a human version of Tora. I don't know what maybe. I was watching the preview for Street Fighter V characters, and he's like this all new character. And I was watching one of the previews, and I was like, oh, that looks like Tora if Tora were a human. And it was a ridiculously random thought. I guess you could say Blanca, but I was like, no, I think Nikali, because he just seems to have that. He goes Super Saiyan, and he goes totally crazy in these videos. And I'm like, oh, by the way, I was telling Callie, I was wondering about like Japanese mythology and folklore and how sometimes demons and saints are associated with red. And then I started looking up like folklore around the world about redheads, and I found out some interesting things that would get Callie and I in a lot of trouble as redheads. So like ancient Egyptians regarded the color red as so unlucky that they had a ceremony in which they burned redheaded maidens to purify them of whatever taint was possessing them.
Just means I'm a witch. Secretly.
Yeah, basically, and even Hitler apparently didn't like redheads, which he didn't like anybody.
Wait.
I said even, and I was like especially even because he was so tolerant of nobody. Because talking about human trash.
Don't do it. Don't make me do it.
But like he banned marriages between redheads because he was afraid of deviant offspring.
Demon spawn.
He does not understand genetics.
He doesn't. No, I mean it's Hitler. Many things. Yeah,
So
it's Hitler.
That's my witch baby.
Yes.
'Cause I'm a witch.
Also,
secretly.
Supposedly, I have to look this up.
Guess
But
what?
ancient Greeks thought that if you died as a redhead, you'd turn into a vampire. Supposedly.
Oh.
That's cool.
Can I be a
That's
witch
like something to
vampire?
look forward
You could
to,
be a witch
though.
vampire.
right?
That would
It's
be
like
really cool.
Yeah, now I can look forward to the afterlife.
Yeah.
Because redheads don't have a soul. See what I did there?
Yes, that was good.
Thanks.
I think.
I'm so sorry.
It's so weird hearing about this kind of stuff. Just because I come from a culture where like we don't really have that much variance in appearance when it comes to hair color.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why would you hate on a particular color? Like, why is it red? Why is it not like?
I just thought it was cool that when you have demons and
Yellow.
super strong characters in a lot of like Japanese games and anime, they have red hair.
Yeah.
Well, you
I
see
think it's
Snow
kinda
White with
interesting.
the red hair. She's best because she's red haired.
Yeah. Which
So-
is a really nice.
It's weird.
Yeah. Red hair is very
Change.
rare. It's a mutation, so it's weird or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean,
does that make
most
us- does that make
traits
us
are a
mutants?
mutation.
I don't mind being a mutant. That's kind of cool.
So I'm a mutant vampire witch.
Oh
That's
my gosh.
awesome.
Yes.
You like all the powers.
I am the best.
Kelly, go.
Okay.
Well, we're all mutants
my-
at some point, technically.
Yeah. I love the idea of like secretly having superpowers I don't know about.
Yeah.
Well, I love it.
I
Cool.
don't know. I think it's
Headcanon accepted.
So speaking of ghosts and weird stuff,
Ghosts and stuff.
I'm sorry I took it that way. I don't know.
Yeah,
Dead mouse.
I saw the mouse. Anyway, for our topic of the week, we have Attack Studios ask us at Supercake.
Liege.
Like my liege.
Liege. I never read that
Super
word.
cake.
So I don't know what it looks like. I've only heard it. Surprise. Anyways, have you ever had an anime that started off really well for you, but just fell apart somewhere? Hashtag IGN Anime Club. Hashtag Samurai Flamingo. So I guess that's what fell off for him. But yeah, so shows that were disappointing to us, like that happens, unfortunately. You know, some things just don't hold up. Like there's been a lot of cool premise that, you know, is very exciting, but then it just kind of goes nowhere. And I think a lot of that, we'll get to why maybe that happens. But as I was saying with ghosts and such, there was this one show that I really liked a few seasons ago called Gugure Kokuri-san. And so it's about, if you don't know what that was, please go, everyone keeps asking, please go to IGN.com and look at the article page because we have a full list of every anime we mentioned. So just need to shout that out because people have been asking a lot recently.
Yeah, if you miss it, it's on there.
Yeah, so Gugure Kokori-san is a very cute show about a little girl who lives alone in a shrine. and she thinks she's a robot.
Cute.
Oh,
it sounds so sad.
Yeah, she's alone. She's cute. She just eats.
She's alone.
Cup ramen all the time.
She's
That's same. She lives on that. You know, it's like I know you. We're good, except I don't think I'm a robot. But
ramen though.
Yeah, and then one day she summons a demon. And it's
as you do.
Son. Yeah, as you do. She's just like, oh, I'm bored. I'm gonna summon him. And he's like, oh, he didn't come. And so this guy, the demon, kind of comes and he's like, oh, she's alone and she's eating cup ramen. What the heck? She's just a little girl. And so he decides to take care of her.
Oh,
yeah, and it's like really cool. And she starts after he comes around. She starts seeing like demons and other like creepy ghosts flying around her house. And she's just like, whatever. I'm a robot. And so it's like the weirdest. Cool show, and it has like an amazing like OP. It's like super jazzy and the characters all dancing and I guess it's more disco, but it's really fun show, and it just fell off so hard. I was like, oh bye.
Bye.
Yeah. It just stopped, after a while it stopped being interesting, and like there's this one character, I don't know if it's because of like Japanese folklore or how it works, but I don't remember what his name was. He was only in a few episodes, but he was super creepy child predator. But it was like a mythical creature sort of thing, so it wasn't a person, but still it was like
awkward.
Awkward. It's like there's a lot of cool characters. Like there's a tanuki who's really weird, and then there's like this dog demon, and he like loves the protagonist, like the little girl. Like he's like super like loyal to her because she helped him whenever he was a puppy, and then the puppy died, and then he came back as a demon or whatever, or a spirit. So yes, that was like a really cool show. It sounds like it's like cool.
Dead dogs are my limit, man. Can't do that.
They always die. I mean, it's obvious. Anyway.
Whoa, Miranda, some real talk.
Yeah, Marley and me, I don't even care. It's obviously gonna die. I don't care.
Wow. Anyway.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Okay, stop right there.
What do you mean?
Anyway,
if it were a cat, you would care, though.
There's a whole website dedicated to whether or not the dog dies in a movie, so you can prepare yourself.
I mean, it's always gonna die. Anyway,
the dog doesn't die in.
It's a cheap trick. It's like, oh, we can pull your heartstrings by making the dog die because you're gonna grow attached to it.
Yeah, but sometimes when the dog doesn't die, it's a huge victory. You're like, that's right. Because dogs are awesome.
Anyway.
Like Taromaru.
Yeah, Toromaru. If he turns into a zombie, I am going to flip out.
Nice.
I don't know if that virus is like cross species. We will see.
I don't know. I hope not.
Anyway.
I hope not.
Anyway,
disappointing. Let's go back to
Kokuri-san.
Yeah.
Dog does die, but it's like
spoilers.
A thing. Not really. It's like a character.
If it's so disappointing, I doubt we're gonna watch.
But I mean, like, the thing is, like, it was a fun show to just kind of like watch. It's kind of similar to Maru-chan, just kind of fun to watch, but I don't know if it'll have the same payoff as Maru-chan. Like, it just, the ending was like, oh, okay, now we're all gonna live happily ever after the end. I was like, okay. I mean, I think the manga's still going, and it's that kind of situation where it just stops. So, what kind of shows have you guys found severely disappointing?
Well,
Current or past or anything?
Anything. Like, what was like the most disappointing show for you? I mean, like, aside from that, for me, it was like Rolling Girls. Like, it's also an awesome show that had the first few episodes that were amazing and like set something up really cool, and it just kind of like fell off. Like, I won't get into it. Like, we want to talk more about like why maybe that happened, but also like what for you just like was disappointing.
I mean, not like disappointing, but there's this one anime which is like my favorite, but it's like there's a moment, Death Note, where it's just like
someone's having a stomp battle outside. Sorry.
Anyway,
Death Note. There's like something that happens. I'm sure you guys have.
You're talking about like the halfway point of Death Note.
Yeah.
And that's just very sad.
It shifts a lot, right?
Shifts. And I didn't really like the shifts because I really liked the
dynamic with the two people. Yeah.
And it's like, I think
a lot of people don't like that. You're definitely not alone.
That's
which is like
something I hear from a lot of people.
One example of that.
Like I think in the case of Death Note, they did have like a really, really strong kind of dynamic, and then there's a huge shift.
And it's kind of abandoned what they had in place.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, you can't replace.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah, they have.
They tried to replace it.
Yeah, but it doesn't fit.
Yeah, they build up and then it kind of drops off, and they never pick up that momentum again. But I mean, like, I still enjoyed it. I didn't watch the anime. I read the manga. The manga's like basically the same thing.
Yeah.
But
I just watched the anime and read some of the manga. But.
I have, I think, what might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm not sure.
Oh.
And it takes some explaining, so bear with me, because I have reasons for why this one is disappointing to me. But mine is Attack on Titan. And
that's not unpopular.
Okay, good.
That show absolutely falls off.
Yeah. Well, okay, okay. So
I agree anyway.
Okay, good. I didn't want to be like that mean person that's just like that, because I know a lot of people really like Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
But so this isn't a judgment on people who like it, but so I think the original opening, like the Cease and Desist and Versen die Jäger opening, is like super hype. And so when I watched that with my old roommate, and we actually made our Wi-Fi password Jaeger with 3 exclamation points because we were like so hype. We're like, yeah, this show's awesome, yeah. And then, so I was like super, super into it. I was like, yeah, Attack on Titan is so cool. And then I finished it, and I was like, oh, that wasn't as cool as I thought it was. Like, I feel like I said this to someone at a bar last week. I was like, yeah, Attack on Titan's the kind of show that like tricked me into liking it. That's kind of how I feel about it. Like, it tricked me with the opening, and then the second opening I just did not like.
Did you watch this show as it was released?
No, I watched it
so I
after.
Did.
Oh,
so it was different because like watching it moment to moment, you're you're like way more hyped for like, okay, this next episode something's gonna happen, it's gonna be great.
Oh wait, no, I did watch it as it was released. Yeah,
because I watched it with my friend. Like we get together every week. We go get barbecue. It was
nice.
Yeah, it was a thing. Like we go hang out and watch anime in college, and it really falls off just because like pacing and so much exposition where it doesn't need to happen. Like you're saying, the intro's like it's so like full blast, like this is gonna be an awesome show, and then you're like, just scream some more, Aaron. It's fine.
Yeah,
just fine.
Yeah, you know there's a panel from the manga where it's like, what is it, Aaron? And it's like John. I called him John because I couldn't tell if his name was John or Jean. That one guy, but he's doing like the shaft head tilt, and he's like, "What is it, Aaron?" And my old roommate's name is Aaron, so that just became our thing because we would watch it together every week. And so like every week I'd come up to her and be like, "What is it, Aaron?" And she would just hate me. But yeah, no, I think like, and especially after, I think I marked like the beginning of my disappointment with the show after like they changed the opening to the second one, because like that's when I really noticed.
It's a halfway point, yeah.
That's what
halfway through and it just starts slowing down.
Yeah, like with in the absence of the first opening, I was way less hyped for that show. I was like, oh yeah, okay, Steven Tyler is a Titan.
The second
that one Titan looks like Steven Tyler. I'm not lying to you.
Oh my god! Now I have to go look this up because I can't remember which one you're talking about.
I think one of our episodes is going to focus specifically on some of the super mega popular anime like Attack on Titan and Sword Art, and we want to kind of like jump into those a little more in One Piece and kind of talk about those in depth and what's wrong with them. But yeah, there's definitely issues.
Yeah, Sword Art, there's also another one that has like a halfway point where it's just like, I feel like it just kind of drops down after that.
Yeah, I've heard that about Sword Art, and that's why I haven't started it.
Yeah. But I feel like the first half is worth it.
Yeah, watch the first 12 episodes, I think.
And then you're done. This one.
Oh. And then just stop.
I just might do that.
I mean, there is good stuff later on, but I'll save that for later.
Yep.
We'll talk about it some other time. Elena, Megan, do you have anything in particular?
Well, I mean, it's pretty recent, so everyone still remembers me saying this, because the thing is about me, you get to a certain point in your life where you're keeping track of so many things, apparently, that my brain, the way that it decides to deal with it is that it just forgets. So if I don't like it, like, it just puts it out of memory that I watched it. Like, it's like, that's not even worth holding on to anymore. Just chuck it. Data's not necessary. So I actually was like, when I saw the agenda for this week, I was like, I know I've hated so many things, but why can't I remember any of them?
I mean, it's just something that you found like profoundly disappointing.
Right. Plastic Memories is a recent one.
Yeah.
And then everybody who's been listening up until this point knows. But for people who are just tuning in, Plastic Memories is very similar to Attack on Titan in that it just goes, oh, bam, like right in your face with that first episode. Where you're just like, I'm bawling and I don't know how to stop. Everything in life is the feels. and then the next episode, you're like, huh? Okay, I guess I needed a breather. And then it just kind of like goes from there, where it's like you just never get that really same strong impact. And it wasn't that I was expecting like an Android of the Week necessarily sort of story, but I just felt the pacing kind of went everywhere. And then they shoved a bunch of things that it didn't really have time for in the span of 12 episodes. Like when you have 12 episodes, you have to keep it pretty tightly focused, especially when your episode's only like, 21 minutes long. And then by the end, it just became this kind of soppy, sort of like love story-ish kind of thing, where I'm like, yawn. Okay, we know what's happening. Yes, it's sad. It's done.
So did you watch it all the way through? Like, you made sure.
Yeah, I finished Plastic Memories. Like, I watched the whole thing, and I was just like, oh, well, I guess the first episode did remind me that I have feelings, but it's over now.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Are you okay?
I feel nothing. Maybe that was the goal of it. I feel
You're
nothing.
like a little robot girl
Yeah, I
in the
know.
shrine.
Yeah.
It's you as a younger, it's a child. I think we figured it out, guys.
Yeah. Solved the mystery.
Time travel. Something, I don't know. Maybe I found something, a microwave.
Hey. We're not quite there yet, but we will be.
Megan, share with
I've
us
been
your...
dreading this.
Oh no.
Because not only am I a redhead, but I will be burned at the stake for this opinion.
No, you won't. We'll protect you.
Maybe.
Oh no, there are masses, and also there might be fans in this room. But I don't hate it, but I feel because it was so hyped up that there's no way that I couldn't be slightly disappointed. I'm not a fan of Samurai Champloo.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of that show. I love the opening battle cry, and the concept is cool, but it just couldn't deliver. Like, Mugen and his companions are familiar tropes. I got through 12 episodes, and I felt like it didn't do anything that surprised me or could keep my interest. It had moments that I liked, but it wasn't. I mean, I was forcing myself to watch the last 3 or 4 episodes. Like, I was waiting for something to really hook me, and it just didn't. And I know the super unpopular opinion, and I dreaded being asked this, but every time I think of an anime that I really, really wanted to like, because it is by people who have worked on Cowboy Bebop and, Michiko and Hachin, surely I would love this, and I don't feel it. So
Happens.
It happens.
That happens, yeah.
I'm going down in flames, people, but I'm telling the truth.
It's totally fair, though, because, I mean, I don't tend to watch a lot of things by the same studio for anime, just kind of like whatever I have, access to. But like books, totally like that, right? Where like you have a favorite author, but sometimes some of their books are just like total miss for me. Like that did not seem like it was worth you publishing.
Yeah, it's like wild.
Oh, I know. I've felt that way about a lot of books
It's like
I've read.
wild cards to friggin' Game of Thrones. It's like George R. R. Martin. What are you doing? Just work on Game of Thrones. Although, you know what? I haven't really. I've read like paragraphs of wild cards, and I'm like, maybe I just need to sit down and read one of these books. But I'm like, it's not Game of Thrones.
Yeah. So sometimes things are just really disappointing and sad and break our hearts. But let us know what broke your heart and made you angry.
Or all those things.
Yeah.
Or maybe made you feel nothing by the end.
Yeah, just empty. That happens to me a lot, actually. I'll just be watching something and be like, okay.
I feel like
there's
that's
nothing.
the worst, though, right? That when you walk away apathetic, like you're not angry, you're not sad, you're not happy, you're just apathetic, like meh.
That's how I felt about Charlotte until the last 2 episodes.
Oh, I'm looking forward to catching up this week.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
I was catching up, so I was like super behind on Charlotte, and then I was catching up, and I kind of had to force myself to get through. I think I was 5 episodes behind, and I got through the first 3 and kind of was just like, okay.
That's kind of how I was just like coasting through it. I mean, just watching it. Like I don't know how, but I kept up with it, and I was just watching it. It's like, all right.
And then by the most recent 2, I'm less no, I care more, but But yeah, before I was completely I was just like, this might as well happen. Like I might as well be watching this.
I felt like I really liked the first 3 episodes, and like the 4th and 5th episode were too slow, and I was like, this isn't progressing. And now all of a sudden, it's like, boom.
Yeah.
Now we have a totally different tone going on.
Yeah, so I'm glad that picked up, but it was almost disappointing. It wasn't quite one of the ones that crushed my
I've
heart.
had that problem with Roku no Yusha, where I'm frustrated with that show's pacing.
I watched the first episode and I was like,
I don't understand what people love so much about it. I'm only 2 episodes in, so it's not like I can say much.
Yeah.
But it's just not super interesting for me. Like I get that the premise is somewhat cool. It's like, oh, we gotta go feed a demon thing, but it's just kind of
And there's a traitor in your
going
midst
wrong.
and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But it's so slow getting there, and like each episode is bookended by interesting stuff. But at the same time, it's like the middle is just so sluggish, and there's just
Sounds
so
like
much.
Arslan.
Yeah, and sometimes
it's
the
really
characters
Arslan paced.
Yeah, the characters kind of don't make sense for me sometimes. Like you have the sword princess essentially, and when they first meet demons, she's just like, I don't know. Like, you're supposed to be
It's
like one of the best.
That's my pet peeve is when there's like a woman or a girl that like should be very proficient in whatever she's proficient in, and then like, and this isn't just anime, but and then like something happens and she's like, oh my god,
which is weird because she establishes that she was like in the second episode. She establishes that she was once on her own and lived outside and had to survive, and then all of a sudden she doesn't know what to do.
And she's like, oh, well, I've never had to face them before. It's like, it's just another enemy.
I'm like, girl. You're the sword princess.
You're the saint of blade.
Yeah.
You've got this.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
I think what irritated me about the first episode is he kept talking about like, I'm the strongest man in the world. I'm the strongest man in the world. And I was like, wow, this is like every boy in every anime I've ever
If he
seen.
said the most clever,
Yeah,
I'd get behind that because he does clever things. Like in 4 episodes in, he does really super clever things. But strongest man in the world is like a misnomer almost.
It's like,
yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It's like
it's just irritating.
You're not punching people.
You're very crafty. You're the craftiest man in the world,
the
probably.
craftiest one. I like that. You're foxy, but you're not strong.
The fox. He's another redhead.
He's another redhead. You got the foxy redhead.
Foxy redhead. Yeah.
I don't know why I brought that redhead stuff up. I just really wanted to share that useless information.
Well, we tied it back in. It all comes back to anime. That's how life works.
It always does. So, none of us kind of cried about what makes anime terrible sometimes. Or not what makes it, but what animes are terrible sometimes. Let's dig into what makes them bad. I mean, there's, like, taking Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
We were talking about how it just slows down so fast. Like, it just so fast. Slows down so fast.
I feel like I rubbed off on you, and that's bad. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I'll
when she starts using the word trash every other word, and
that's
then we know
already
the
done.
damage has been done.
Yeah, so I mean, like Attack on Titan starts off really strong. There's a lot of really interesting things. The characters are somewhat, there. It's for Eren.
Eren Yeager.
Yeah, but the problem I think with that show is just that they take too much time to talk.
Yeah.
Like, the exposition slows it down so much when there should be action. Like, this is a show that's like high pace, high velocity. You expect your adrenaline to be pumping a little bit, and then of course it has to slow down sometimes, and that's understandable. But even when you're in the middle of a fight or something big is about to happen, and just have like this long exposition about your whatever, how you need revenge, and it's just like, please spare me.
Just kill Titans.
Yeah. So
Like,
I mean,
God.
I think exposition.
You
is,
have one job.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. So I think exposition is like one of the biggest problems with anime.
Talking your ear off.
And you not only talk your ear off, but you explain everything. Like, you don't trust the viewer to figure it out yourself. Like, it's like, here, let me hand you everything on a silver platter so you understand just every little detail. We do not trust you to be smart enough to figure it out.
It's not even a trust. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
It's not even a trust thing. It's just bad storytelling.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean,
It's really bad storytelling.
that's how it is. Like, and I think a lot of anime suffers from that.
Yeah, and I can't think of a specific one right now, but an example I can think of is I played like the demo for Life is Strange, and there's like a storm happening, and you hear like an internal monologue about the storm, and I'm like, okay, you don't need to. I can see the storm. Like, it's a show not tell thing.
Right.
You need to show. You don't always have to be like, and there's a storm, and I should walk over here, and I should do this, and it's like,
And
I understand that. I can see this.
And then, like, on the flip side of that, the shows that do trust you, look at like School Live, where they're like,
Yes.
we're not telling you anything. We'll tell you eventually if there's something important, but we're gonna let you figure it out.
We have little
first.
hints, but you have to figure it out.
Yeah, it's nice. It's like, thank you for recognizing my intelligence.
And not even just that. Like, you can do exposition, but you have to do it well. Like, it can't be contrived, right? So I don't want to spoil it, but when episode 6 they explain more of the situation, it makes sense in that context why it's being explained.
Yes.
It does not feel unnatural at all. It
Right.
totally fits, and it's kind of like you're along for the ride. It's not that they're almost pretending that the fourth wall isn't being broken, and yet they're kind of breaking it, because they're just like, well, let me just shove in all this exposition about this like place that you're in. Like, that's not relevant to this episode. I'm just thinking actually of Snow White with the red hair, the first episode, where she's like talking to herself, the internal monologue, and then like, who talks to themselves like that?
Yeah,
Nobody
like, just
does.
let me observe what you're doing and your body language, and like I will glean the information that I need. That's just, I mean, it's just poor storytelling to
And a big problem with
belabor the point.
Yeah, with what they talk about is usually things that should be obvious to them, but it doesn't make sense while they're repeating it. It's like, oh, this is my best friend. It's like, well, yeah. I mean, like, unless you have a narrator or something, or another way, like, there's other ways to indicate what you're trying to convey.
Yeah.
But they have to feel like they have to explain every little detail and say, oh, well, this is obvious, but here's this person, this is why they're doing this, or, oh, you're doing this, okay, but you should have known that. Like, it doesn't...
Yeah, like if my best friend walks up to me, I'm not thinking, aha, it is my best friend. Like,
oh, it's my best friend. Hey, it's my best friend.
Hey, best friend, how are you doing? How was, like, it's just...
Like, even saying that more casual, it's like, oh, hey, best friend, how's it going? Like,
or like, hey, best friend, Miranda Sanchez.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
who does that?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
It's just like the thing about, this is just a big problem with anime, I think, overall. Like, even in some of the greatest shows have that issue, but some of them, of course, have it even to a worse degree.
Yeah, I would agree. I'd say, like, I was thinking about my love story, how at the beginning of every episode he's like, "Ore wa go da takeo," and he's like talking, like that works for me because it's kind of like he like prefaces things. But even then, I'm kind of like, okay, I'm 19 episodes in, I know who you are, but it's not to that extreme. Like that's when it's doing it well. You know what I mean?
It acts more as a reoccurring event that's kind of like a narration.
Yeah, because
as opposed to being, I'm thinking inside, and who am I?
Yeah.
Every morning I wake up.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's a consistent thing with every episode. It's kind of like he's introducing the show to the viewer rather than someone who's like, yes, it is my mortal enemy. Remember in middle school when I did the thing, and then I'm thinking about middle school now, and I'm like,
great,
stop.
Yeah, stop.
Yeah.
I think Elena and I probably agree on this because it goes along with bad storytelling is bad pacing.
Yeah,
that's like such a big struggle too because so many anime only have like 12 or 24 episodes. Like you have to juggle like what are you going to give out first and how can you just make sure everything's conveyed in that short amount of time.
Yeah, I had that issue with Gangsta up until the most recent 2 episodes as well, where it was kind of
they found their stride. Seems like it. Cross your fingers.
I hope so. I really liked not the most recent one. I mean, I liked the most recent one, but I really liked the
one before that.
Yeah, the one before that. I really liked that episode. But I mean, especially if a show is following a manga. And the manga is paced a certain way because it's a manga.
Right.
You can't. That doesn't translate to anime as well, oftentimes. And so that's one of the issues with Gangsta is like it was paced more like the manga was. According to someone I talked to who read the manga, was like, oh yeah, it's way too slow because that's how the manga is, and it's not picking up that anime stride.
Right.
That's a struggle with a lot of anime. I think is finding that stride within the first couple episodes. If it is following a manga, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because like we've said multiple times that the way you read a manga and the way you watch anime is completely different.
Yeah,
you cannot transfer 1-to-1.
Yeah,
unless the manga happens to be super fast paced or something.
Right.
And then even then,
Yeah, which is kind of the issue with Sailor Moon Crystal is it follows the manga, and if you go back and actually read the Sailor Moon manga, it's pretty fast paced, and you don't really get to know the other Seishi as well. You don't actually get to know them as in depth in the anime with its Monster of the Week, and it went on for 26 episodes, and that was just one season. Now we're going to move on to Sailor Moon R or whatever, and it's like, in that manga, it's the opposite of, it goes by so fast, you don't feel like you get to know any of the Sailor Guardians. I almost said Sailor Scouts because I'm old.
That's fine.
But it's like, yeah,
if I
bounce between those, I apologize. I actually had to go back into a review for Sailor Moon Crystal, and because I kept using like the English names for characters, and I didn't realize I was doing that. I think I called Jupiter Lita. That was her English schoolgirl name, and I was like, oh my god, that is not Makoto. I had to go back and change it. So, but yeah, I think that it's pacing can also just be an issue.
Yeah. So.
Pacing.
Also,
no, go ahead.
I have a list, right? So I mean, it's like how you. It's like numerous things, right? So it can be the pace, it can be how you tell the story, and a lot of times it can just be the story itself. There are some that I've watched where I'm like, okay, like this does not seem like you're telling me enough that makes me want to stick around for 26 episodes. Or conversely, you had like so much going on and it seems like you realize that you have 2 episodes left, so let's just cut this off right now and jam a bunch of stuff in and like everything's exploding, So
I like you made robot movements when you said exploding.
That's another hint. You're definitely the robot girl in the shrine.
No. Don't give me away in front of everybody.
We know that she's a mutant vampire witch.
Yeah.
So
I gave away my secret identity.
So it's fitting that I am a robot person. Yeah.
This is good. We got a theme going.
And it's how the characters are portrayed, how they are voiced. Like, there's so many different little things that can, like, when you think about it, the fact that there are, like, shows where it just all comes together kind of blows my mind, right? That there's so many things that could potentially go wrong, and then here's a show that seems like it knows what it's doing.
Yeah, it's really good. Which is my problem with like anime sometimes based on games. Not all, there's some really good ones, but because games don't necessarily have a deep story or deep characters that affects the anime because there's nothing to go off on. So Gunslinger Stratos is kind of an example of, man, this would be a really cool game. Oh, it is a game, but it doesn't translate as an anime, whereas like Roku no Yusha is a perfect example of, I don't really like this anime, but I swear it'd make a great JRPG. And I actually looked it up. I was like, maybe it's based on a JRPG. I don't think it is. So I was like, there's an instance where it's reversed, where I'm like, it's not an anime, but it'd make a great game. I would play the heck out of that JRPG. Yeah. So, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, well, that is our topic for today.
Yes.
We have a long episode. Sorry, guys. But I hope you're enjoying it.
No, it's good.
Yeah,
it's
now
a watch party.
Yeah, now we get into that watch party. Talk about some microwaves.
It's funny that you're talking about JRPGs because I totally want to say something about that in relation to Steins Gate.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Good.
Oh, wait. Like, I always preempt you for the intro, and I'm like, I'm going to wait my turn this time.
You got it. Go for it.
Okay, so I was reading comments like, I mean, we've seen them in the Facebook group. I actually made the mistake of going onto YouTube and looking at those. But
just thank you for the people who actually do post nice things in our YouTube comments.
Yes, that's really nice. Thank you.
I sometimes go onto our full video page, and I'll check them every now and then. And
Me
sometimes
too.
they're not usually super great. I mean, the YouTube community for some reason just has really bad manners. I don't know.
Not all of you.
Yeah, not all of you. Of
No,
course
that's
not.
the good news.
Definitely
That's
not.
what's awesome
But
about our
the
YouTube
few
videos.
that are like saying like nice things.
Yeah.
Like, thank you.
Definitely.
That's
Yes, it's nice.
we appreciate your feedback. We really do. And sometimes we just don't go there because there is such a toxic environment that it's not okay. So
Right.
thank you. But no, really, thank you for trying to make it better.
Yes.
So in general, the feedback about Steins Gate has been, like, you have to stick with this. If you're going to quit, like, 10 episodes. Someone said, I forgot the number. Someone's like, if you're going to quit as soon as, like, 10 episodes in, or it doesn't get good till, like, 12 or 10 or 12 episodes in.
That's how long it
kind
takes.
of, right. But, like, that's kind of what they're implying. It's like, if you can't stick it out for that many episodes, like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, this is the same argument that people have used with JRPGs with me. They're like, you just have to play 25 hours and then it gets really good. And I'm like, I totally respect the fact that you like JRPGs. It's a genre that I can see that there's appeal in it,
Right.
but it's not for me. So I don't think it's fair to expect everybody to put in 25 hours before their game gets good. And I think likewise, I don't think it's fair for people to tell other people that if they're quitting too soon, because everyone has a different kind of metric for
People's
what they're
time
willing.
is valuable.
Yeah, it's your time. It's how you spend it is 100% up to you. So
Right. So we're finally on episode 5 and 6. When we got an email from Neil. Hi, Neil.
Neil, is that Neil from Twitter?
I think
Yay, Neil.
it said, hey everyone, yay anime. Yay anime!
Yay, anime!
Steins Gate is now another reason as to why I stand by the rule of 5 over the rule of 3, which I honestly kind of disagree with the rule of 5. Like, that is a long time. Unless you're actually interested in the show, like very invested, then you're just like very on the fence. I guess I could see you going to 5, but that's a long time.
It's very charitable.
It is.
Yes.
It is. It's like, that's a long time.
That's generous,
We don't have a lot of time, so what are you supposed to do? So, though I do appreciate it, I think I agree. Like, this one does take a little bit longer to get into motion. I hope you guys agree for these few episodes.
Yeah.
It continues. The scene with Suzuha Amane freaking out at Christina, and then later being stoked to see fireworks for the first time, quite intriguing.
Yeah,
Also, gelatin bodies, the plot thickens. Or no pun intended. Plot thickens.
I took notes about how that microwave works, by the way. I actually took notes so we could discuss them.
Dang.
Because it's very detailed.
Yeah, so I guess we should start with episode 5, because these ones are actually getting very heavy. It's no longer just Okarin being crazy and them just kind of guessing at what time travel could be or how it could work and stuff.
Yeah.
Episode 5 is the episode that sold me on this show.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Like,
You're sold on it now.
Yeah, I loved episode 5.
I'm back in the camp alone.
I watched the dub this time, and I did not hate the characters anymore. Like, they weren't irritating. I got the sarcasm and stuff, and the humor in how Okarin talks was easier to detect in English for me. But I like the whole gelatin bodies thing, time travel and how creepy it is. And I was like, yeah, creepy. I like creepy stuff. And so I really liked this episode.
Yeah, it was horrifying.
Yeah,
but
really,
great.
really terrifying.
Yeah, very stark.
Yeah, so you finally figure out that, even though these college kids are just kind of messing around with a microwave, that they're actually pretty intelligent. Like, Okarin, he's silly, got some mad scientist ego thing going on. But then every now and then you see him slip into a very serious state when he's, like, really trying to figure out what's going on. And I think that's a really great point that we finally see him getting a little bit more serious and, you know, curious. Like, he realizes that these experiments that Soren's been doing are, like, lethal.
Yeah.
So, and it's terrible.
Like that moment where he walks out the grocery store and he's like...
Yeah, I was thinking episode 6, and he just has that realization. He's like, oh, yeah, we're playing with this microwave trying to figure out time travel, but people died doing this.
He gets horrified.
Yeah.
Like, that was good to see because it made me realize that he's more connected to reality than I thought. Like, he did realize the gravity of what he's doing.
Yeah.
That is not a black hole joke.
Or is it?
I think also, too, he realizes that he's pulling people into this. Like, they're packing into really serious stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, I dragged Mayuri into this. He asked Christina, he's like, or Kurisu, like, do you want to know? Like, you will be dragged into this. You will not have a way out. And at first it's like, oh, well, it's kind of a fun lab thing. It's like, no, but this is actually really serious.
Yeah.
So.
Especially the fact that they have already succeeded in doing this with a banana, and they've seen the gelatinous mess themselves, and it's horrifying when you think about it in the context of happening to people.
Right.
Yeah. This was cool. This was so cool.
Yeah, this was very deep. Although I like they had humorous moments sprinkled in. So like the whole thing when like Kurisu puts on a lab coat and Hokobe is like freaking out. It's like put your hands in your pockets. Now pose really cool. And it was just, like, and it felt like a little fourth wall breaking where they're kind of poking fun at the fact that anime does that, where they have these poses that don't really make sense. And Kurisu's like, what are we doing? Why are you an idiot? So I think that I like how she's his foil. Like, he is so over the top crazy, and she's there to be like, I don't understand. Like, Shintaro, like, what is your major malfunction?
I adore her character so much.
She's great.
I love her.
Yeah, she is really.
Also, I love that she's so intelligent. Like, I know we've gotten some email about how her science doesn't quite match up with what it actually is, which happens a lot in, you know.
Sure, it's anime. It's not trying to be super accurate.
But she figures out how their time machine works.
The whole calculation she does on the board.
And here it is, Megway. So here's how D-mails work. 1 second on timer equals 1 hour backward in real time. 120 seconds equals 5 days in the past. Messages can only be 36 English characters or 18 Japanese characters long. Kerr black holes are tiny and people turn to mush when their matter is squeezed through it. At least 14 people have been experimented on. Subject does not match is a quotation from Project C. Current date of the show is August 2nd, 2010. And it's interesting because the bananas go back to their original place that they were, but they're all mushy. I don't know if that means that they go like 5 days back in time. Like, we know the messages go back 5 days.
Yeah, it's similar to the human experience. Like, they don't fit in wherever they're trying to go through, so they come back as mush.
They use the analogy of like the sponge trying to go inside.
It wrings out the insides, which that was grody.
But it makes it there, but it's just like not in a complete form.
Yeah, I can't retain its shape.
Yeah, those old news articles.
That
was the coolest.
Really
I used to
creepy.
So gross, though. Like in a good way, but gross.
Yeah, I used to watch a lot of like crime documentaries. Like,
oh wow,
man,
you have strong disposition.
I used to watch a lot of crime documentaries, like how they solved crimes like that, and there would be like these old clippings, and so that was so cool to see, like sci-fi versions of that, like. Obviously, this didn't really happen, but oh my god! Imagine like sending someone back, and then like that newspaper clipping comes into being because of what you did, and then you read what happened to the person. Like, oh my god, the
and they'll appear
are
in
so
like
cool.
random places around the world. Like the German guy, like I think he appeared in like Japan, like back in time or something. Like the people don't appear in not only in the same time, but I don't think they are from the same place.
Well, presumably they're all conducting the experiments in Switzerland.
Yes,
but yeah, they all end up all over the place.
Yeah, but they don't end up back in Switzerland like 40 years past. They end up some random place around the world at different times.
I wonder if that's because of the rotation of the Earth.
I don't know.
What if one of them ends up in the ocean?
Oh dear.
No one find them.
No newspaper article about that.
Yeah. Your body would wash away. Dissolve.
Gross.
Anyway. Yeah, and in episode 6, there was also a lot of really great references to other time travel media. Back to the Future, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time.
Yeah, that was really funny.
Yeah.
That was the one time I didn't hate Mayuri.
Yeah,
Mayuri, sorry.
We talked about this earlier, but I love, or like amongst each other, I love that she's the one who had all those pop culture references, because she doesn't seem to contribute a lot to the science because that's just not her forte, and then she contributes all this, and I loved seeing her doing something that made me really happy.
We were talking a little bit about this earlier as to why I still like Mayuri, and seeing her with Kurisu and like them bonding a lot, it means a lot because Mayuri's there, but she doesn't have a lot to add. She's not super into science. She obviously doesn't know anything about hacking. She's just kind of there. She's like their friend, and so she doesn't have a lot to add to the conversation. And like I know that feeling, and you're just there to be kind of cute and like just hang out. And so that's kind of her situation in this role. Is she fits, but not entirely. And so having another woman there is like a different step for her because it's something she can relate to.
Yeah, I love that aspect because I've related to that too. I used to not have a lot of female friends, and so when you find like the one girl, it gets really exciting because you're like, oh my god, I'm not alone anymore. I don't have to be the one girl. Yeah. She's growing on me. I didn't like her at first.
It does take a little bit.
She's kind of like Yuki from School Live in that, like, she's the one who kind of brings more cheerfulness to their. I mean, their lab is kind of like dreary. They're pretty intense dudes, and she brings something else that they need. It would be much darker without her.
I like how Kurisu is like immediately protective of her too, where she's just like, don't ever go into that shower again. I'm gonna get you some pepper spray.
Oh, yuck. No, I love women protecting other women. It makes me so happy.
Daru is such a pervert.
Oh my god.
It's so really good.
I love his character. In fact, he's the only character that I actually like in that show.
Funny. I like the things he says.
He sticks with his stupid perverted, like quips and
his
stuff.
Like shtick, Yeah,
he sticks to it really well. Like, say that again, but slow or something. It's like,
or like, you don't want to use bananas. How about cucumbers? Ha ha ha. And I'm like, oh, Daru. Like,
it's like, well, you're the one talking about fitting things through tight spaces. I'm just repeating what you said.
Like, the better thing too is that he fills more than just that role. Like he's an important part. He's not just there for being.
He's not the class clown. He is.
They can't do a lot of stuff without his hacking skills.
Right.
Yeah. Cool.
And it's like with his character is that you see more of the hacking than you do the perverted stuff, right? Like the perverted stuff's like sprinkled in at a fairly regular clip, but it's not the whole of his character. And more often you see him actually doing something very productive.
Yeah.
As
like
part of the group.
Hacking and then like someone says something, he's like,
but he's still working.
Yeah, he's a more complex character. He's not just a shallow kind of one note character. I like that about him.
Yeah, I wonder when we're going to find out about Suzuha and Moeka, though, because I love that Moeka is always texting, as opposed to talking, and then Suzuha is like, she knows about that IMBN.
There's like a lot of hints that like they're not from these parts. You know what I mean?
To remember things as they kind of point things out. I was like, oh yeah, because it's been a very long time since I've seen this, maybe a little over a year, so I've kind of forgotten a lot of the big points, and I'm like, oh, yeah.
They know something, and we have to figure out what it is that they know.
Right.
It's like the second time you watch it, you pick up all their hints that they're dropping.
And you kind of understand why certain things are happening the way they happen, of course, and where it relates on the timeline of stuff.
Did you watch it when it was airing?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I didn't see. I saw it after it was airing. So
yeah, I had a friend who tried to get me to watch it while it was airing, but I was super busy with school, so I couldn't.
I want to play the Steins Gate Vita game, but I'm afraid it'll spoil something.
I mean,
I'm like afraid I don't want to spoil things for myself, but I actually want to play the game because
I'm pretty sure it has multiple paths and stuff, so you'll get different.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I'm curious to know if like the anime path is considered the canon path because it's based on a light novel or a game, or I forget. Steins Gate is based on something, right?
It's just the visual novel.
Just a visual novel. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know why I thought it was a game. Because as a game,
visual novels are sort of gamey.
Yeah, they are.
They're games.
They are games. They just have different elements depending on what they are.
Yeah.
But you have choices, so therefore,
games.
Game.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to see how
there are failure states. So
Yeah.
Going to a comment on episode 6 from Nino Del Toro says, I could point out the fact that they basically discovered the how-to for the phone microwave in this episode as the highlight of this episode. Which, because we finally have a better understanding of what's going on in the lab. Or the other glorious moment when Mayuri's Back to the Future shoutouts ended up being the basis for the name of the text messages sent to the past.
Yeah.
Just like, yay.
Which is very cute. DeLorean mail.
Yep. Or even the fact that mentioning that every second in the phone microwave is an hour in time travel measurements gave me and my theories from last week's invalidation. Don't know what those were, but good for you. I could even put out my theory that Suzuha being a time traveler, but no. None of that matters. Everything fails when put against Okabe and his incredibly misogynist phrase, which I may or may not have laughed too hard at. Stop making lesbomatic field and Stop making lesbomagnetic fields.
Words.
And I mean, lesbomagnetic isn't even a word. So, field and prepare the D-mail. So that was referring to when Kurisu and Mayuri were kind of just having their girl time and freaking out.
I'm gonna make my new gamer tag
lesbomagnetic fields.
Yeah, it's lesbomagnetic reporting for duty.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because Okabe is mean to everybody sometimes.
Yeah.
He's very commanding.
He has way too many names. I'm like, who are you?
I'm surprised Kurisu puts up, like, this is one of those times where it would be like, listen, street trash. Like, do not get to talk to me that way because he's just,
I'm the real scientist here.
Yeah, I was just like, wow. But it's kind of what is so funny is just like, he is so
but nobody cares.
Arrogant.
People just don't take him, they're just like, whatever.
Well, it's because, I mean, most of it is just an act, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, again, kind of sort of tying this into the Makura no Monday, Makura no Danshi kind of stuff where it's like, I knew that guy in college. I didn't like him then, and I don't like him now.
Anyway.
I didn't know anybody like that, but he kind of reminds me of like a Professor Trelawney, like from Harry Potter, obviously, where like occasionally he'll have like a moment of brilliance and everyone just puts up with all the garbage around it. They're like, oh, well, we keep him around because like he did figure this out, so...
Yeah.
With Harry Potter, you know?
Yeah.
Harry Potter's good. It's a good thing.
Is he talking to someone on the phone?
No,
he's not.
I'm just wondering.
So that's I like that he does that because that's something I would do if I wanted to get out of a conversation. Like if I'm like at a bar or something and a guy comes up to me, I'm probably going to be like, oh yeah, oh hey friend, it's me.
I have a story about that. That's really, when I was in Japan, some guy was talking to me in the Starbucks line and I didn't want to talk to him. So my first thing was to pretend that I spoke only Spanish. He had just come back from Mexico and could speak better Spanish than I could.
Oh no.
Then I was like, I can't remember my other excuse, which was something completely different, and he also knew about that as well, and I don't know if it was like speaking German or something, like some unbelievable coincidence. I literally could not get out of this, and finally I picked up my phone, which was clearly not on, and was like, oh hey, how's it going? It's clearly not ringing. And I think I finally took a hint, but it reminded me of that story where it's like when you're trying to get out of conversation and you're doing something really awkward where you're just like, oh, it's 1/2 past a freckle, I have to go.
Yeah. I read a Tumblr post actually where a girl was getting hit on and the guy's like, oh, do you have a phone number? And she's like, no, as she's visibly texting. Like, no. Like,
no, I don't.
Like I'd probably accidentally do that. So I relate to Okari no Kabe, whatever your name is.
Yeah,
I was trying to get out. He just wants to. Yeah, Kyoma, Hoin, whatever you want. That one's hard to say because there's like it's Hoin. Yeah, no, I mean I don't blame him. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's just I need to get out of this situation.
Oh yes, the bank. Oh, I don't know. I won't have any money. Oh God. Like, yeah, me too.
Homer, you're talking into your wallet.
So, do you guys have any last thoughts on this week's Steins Gate?
Nah.
We good?
So, have you watched in the dub though? Are you still watching in the sub?
I will switch to dub next week. I did think about that when you were talking about it last week.
Try the dub because I liked the dub a lot more.
I watched both. I thought I like the sub better. I don't know.
Me too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep switching until I figure out which one I like better.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell if it was the dub or just this episode 5, that made me like it. So I'm gonna keep switching because normally I typically like subs better, but we will see.
Yeah, so next week we'll be watching episodes 7 and 8, and you can watch along with us. Please do. You can email us at IGN_Anime Club at IGN.com, and you can tweet at us at our various Twitters.
At Inky Dojiko, INKYDOJIKKO.
And then it's at Havoc Gross, Havoc with a K.
At Megan_IGN, Megan with an H.
I am at Morphing Ball.
I don't have a Twitter. I'm just an intern.
Oh, is that your Twitter handle? At just an intern?
Just an intern.
Just make you Twitter. It's fine. It's fine.
We'll get you
Yeah,
in
so
the social
be
media.
sure to tweet to us if you want to talk about Steins Gate or anything about anime. If you do want to participate in the watch party, please hashtag your post with hashtag IGNanime, and that's IGNIME. And join our Facebook group, which is facebook.com/group/IGN Anime Club.
Yeah.
Yes, and remember to favorite and retweet anytime you see IGN put out one of our article links so that we can show people that, oh, hey, we have fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good support.
Yes,
so
that's very good support.
Getting that tweet data is is important. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, also really quickly, I was just looking at Pikachu and it reminded me, the Pokemon World Championships are this weekend in Boston, and I am going for IGN. So I'm going to be covering, and this is sort of anime because Pokemon's an anime. But yeah, so look out for
Pikachu.
And there is a Team Aqua plush Pikachu for Worlds. So I'm going to be covering that. So look out for those articles. Yeah.
And if you see Kelly there, say hi.
If you're there, buy me a plushie. don't really. It's okay. Don't do that. But I do want to bring one back for Miranda.
Yeah.
So
Anyways, okay. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us. I know this is a super long episode, but
it was awesome.
yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. Yeah, anime.
Anime.
Missed it again.
Oh.
One day.
Now we have to start all over.
Oh, we should leave that in. That was cute.